Morning, how's it going?
Hey, good, good. How are you?
Right, thank God. Omri also joined. Hey, Omri. I can see you're still connecting to audio.
There we
Cool.
go.
Hey, Joe.
Hello, can you hear me, guys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good
Hello,
morning.
nice to meet you.
Hi, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
Excellent, excellent. Where are you all coming out of?
Well, I'm in France, mixing my other album.
Nice. Very
Yeah,
nice.
And I'm in
yes.
Jerusalem.
Wonderful. Well, I'm in Kansas City, Missouri, so we got a nice little geographical confluence going on here.
Yeah.
Well, gentlemen,
Exactly.
gentlemen, thank you so much for taking a minute out to talk about this project. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
So, talk to me a little bit.
Thank you, our pleasure.
Yeah. Before we get into Upside Down Mountain, I want to know, how did you survive COVID? How did you get through this COVID period? I mean, I see albums coming out now as kind of like a new era, a kind of a rebirth, so to speak. So, how did you get through this time period, and how does this album feel to have coming out right now?
So I would say the album that we're focusing on here, the title is Melodies of Light. It's a it's a the Upside Down Mountains album was our first album that we did together.
Okay,
And
okay.
no problem to focus on that. It's just
No,
that
no,
that
no,
that
no. Yeah, no, I'm just going off of what was sent to me. So yeah, no, that's fine. We can
Okay,
totally
fine. Yeah,
focus
yeah,
on
yeah.
it.
It's okay, cool. Yeah, we're working on promoting with with Ron Kadish a collaboration between the two of us. Um Most of the, the creative material is definitely coming from Omri, where I think that, you know, from the perspective of COVID and where I was personally, at least, I don't know if I'm speaking for Omri as well, but in Jerusalem, um, you know, I felt personally a little bit isolated from some of um the global the effects of COVID, just being that I'm a little bit more focused on studio recording and development. Omri tours a lot more than I do, so his life was probably affected in different ways. I know that this album is less of a response to what's kind of going on the outside, and much more of a um, work of what's going on in the inside. Definitely a spontaneous um, piece of music, work of musical pieces that Omri spearheaded and came up with. So much of the creative material on the spur of the moment, and we recorded, I don't know, like over 20 pieces in a number of, a few hours, and then we worked with that material to kind of bring something out. And I'll let Omri share a little bit about what was going on when he was creating the music that we'll hear on the album Melodies of Light.
So should I speak now?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay. So first of all, to record the album was a pure joy. I met Yosef through the other album that you mentioned, the Upside Mountain, which was a great joy as well. And then when we recorded Melodies of Light, Yosef kind of instructed me spiritually and mentally. I remember him telling me, try to imagine this and that and all kinds of, situations. Some of them are like, try to imagine your wedding or something like that, or or all kinds of things that I think and I feel got something from me by this, how you say horaot in English?
Instructions or guidance.
Instructions, yeah. By this guidance and instructions, it let out something special, and of course, Yosef has his own unique atmosphere, a vibe within his studio, but especially within his heart of something very modest and real. And I think, if I can speak for you, that it's very important what you get out of the musician, something real and full of love, and try to put our egos aside. And I think the result speaks for itself. It's real music, whatever you know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you.
So how did you two hook up? How did this musical union happen?
I'm always on the hunt for musicians with unique perspectives and unique abilities that are very natural, and as Omri mentioned, very, very real. And I think whenever those criteria come up, Omri is one of the pianists definitely here in Israel that are one of the few players that can just play with that fantastic creativity and just a real just plays like a good musician should and knows how to speak the instrument. So that's what I'm looking for. But it's anything simple and real. Sometimes you have to go a very long way and have many hours of practice combined with great talent to be able to actually express that and bring it forth. So after our first album and then a couple of other projects, we got to this right after we finished recording an album with the guitarist Lionel Lueke. This was the third day of the session where we decided to, it was actually the fourth day of the session, because the third day we managed to get one or two pieces done, just the three of us, you and myself and Ofri Nehemia. And then on the last day of the session, it just became this incredible fountain of creative material, improvised primarily between, driven by Omri, and then bringing Ofri Nehemia, the drummer, like kind of into the improvised pieces. So we kind of hooked up just through a fairly close and deep set of musical interactions together, starting from Upside Down Mountains, which is a really fun album and it's very sweet, going into Lionel Lueke's album, and then coming right out of that into this totally other dynamic where nothing's precomposed and nothing's preconceived. And then after that, working it into pieces that feel a little bit more built and composed. So we connected. We both also live in Jerusalem, which is kind of rare because most musicians in Israel live in Tel Aviv. And we're pretty much neighbors.
So what are you hoping the listener gets from this album?
I'm hoping the listener gets from this album the same thing I get from this album when I listen to it. Because after all, I think the most important thing in creation of any product, not just music, is that it first serves as the creator. It first serves my purpose and it brings me value. Because if it can't bring me value, I don't care how many other people it might or might not bring value. It's really for me it's not my offering. So over here, I'm hoping the listener gets the same thing that I get from the album, and for Omri that's probably, it could be different, it could be the same, but I'm sure we share the same perspective. The listener should feel transported from the beginning to end of each piece of music and transported to a place that's more effectively more positive and more alive than they were before. So the music and all the music on the album and all the music of the record label is pretty much focused on a sort of modest positivity and a modest infusion of in Hebrew it's called chayut, and in English it kind of translates into life, but it's the kind of, when you feel alive, you feel that special feeling of, it's kind of mixed with positivity and joy, and sometimes it's, you know, not all like major key joy, sometimes, you know, groove and movement, but that's what I think comes out of this album strongly, for me, is the ability to enjoy the movement of the album and the life of the album, also the positivity, and each piece of music is a story that really has a beginning, middle, and end. The pieces are very communicative. They communicate ideas and thoughts and feelings that are easy to relate to. The melodies are all singable, and they're all like, you know, stuff that you can hum along with, which for me, I think is valuable in terms of engaging myself as a listener. And yeah, happy if Omri wants to share what do you hope that a listener gets out of the album?
First of all, I agree with what you said. I agree with what Yosef said. And yeah, I think the sense of vividness is very much present in the album. And for me also, if you can narrow down the message of the music, which is pretty superficial, but if we have to, in one word, I would say it's hope. I think that this music gives you hope, whether
Yeah,
it's a little bit more, introspective or or the opposite. There's always this dimension of hope. Things will turn out to be okay, and I think this is an element that I like in music. You know, the music I like, whether it's classical, jazz, or whatever, I like to be comforted. You know, I look for the comfort in music, even if it's a harsh story, a harsh musical
yeah,
story. There's got to be an element of comfort, whatever that means. You know, it's a very you know, abstract thing. Music is not words, but so for me, this is one of the main messages of the music. And of course, stylistically, you have we put our musical world into it, which combines vast of you know musical languages, from North African music to African music to classical music to klezmer music to rock. I don't know, everything that we heard, and somehow it all blended into, uh, I hope, a coherent musical message with the special sound of Yosef's studio, and yeah, it's just a joy.
So
thank you.
obviously the cornerstone of each of you is that you love what you do. So why do you love jazz? Why do you love making music?
I think for me, jazz, the category, at least today, it's very broad, and I would say that the slice of the category that I'm kind of interested in is the ability to be the ability to improvise in a way that is stable and hopeful and positive, and not necessarily just the type of music that's superficial or kind of articulated from the desire to prove something, or whatever other traps that us jazz musicians fall into. For me, the ability to innovate is really key in whatever music I'm making. I love the process of innovation, and it really gives me a lot of feeling that I'm really being myself. And when I'm being myself, I can connect that part of me to others, and we're able to, when I'm connecting to others, that type of communication and connection that's brought between human beings, between people, is such a I feel much larger than just my little tiny self, and that gives me a lot of purpose and meaning and joy.
Yeah. For me as well. I mean, for me, it's all music. The definitions of jazz, or especially nowadays, is very vague. Um, you know, I feel the same. Like Yosef said, I like to improvise, and for me, just it's a form of expression and also a form of therapy. For me, music is therapy. It's just I don't know what I will do without music. It's like an essential ingredient of my life. It's like food or water or sleep. I have to have music, otherwise I would be sick or much worse. So this is a form of my expression, and it's always a pleasure to share it with people like Yosef and Ofri Nehemia on drums, which are sensitive, and you can share your emotional world with them, and they share their emotional world with you, and then you come up with something which is larger than your own world, because it's something new created from that thing. So that's it.
So
Beautiful.
do you have any plans on performing live together? What are the plans kind of as the year unfolds and, promotion continues with this album?
I have to see. I think that making plans for 2024 is the right thing to do. Whether it's this album or some mix of some of the musical works. We don't have specific plans nailed down right now, but Omri, let's talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I would take seriously this thing. You know, we need to perform. I think,
Yeah.
yeah,
So,
definitely.
so if anyone out there wants to pick up Melodies of Light, any of your previous work, find out about you guys more, possible touring, where is the best place for them to go?
Right now, I would say Bandcamp. To have a look at either Omri's profile on Bandcamp or my own. Melodies of Light will be there, and there'll be information over there in the Bandcamp community area. We'll be sharing information and stuff like that. Also, any of social media properties, and we'll be releasing the album under my little fledgling record label called Soul Song Records. So we'll be promoting the album through there, and all the signals will kind of reach all the various social media properties that will either of our names or Soul Song Records, where we're going to kind of have as the hub to promote the album and also share information about touring and stuff like that.
Wonderful. Gentlemen, thank you so much for taking time out today to talk about this project, your other projects, your working relationship. I really appreciate it. Best of luck with everything.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
You bet.